Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast.
This is a show dedicated to helping you become a better organist.
We're your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius.
And Aušra Motūzaitė Pinkevičienė.
We have over 25 years of experience of playing the organ.
And we've been teaching thousands of organists online from 89 countries since 2011.
So now let's jump in and get started with the podcast for today.
We hope you'll enjoy it.
Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 712 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Jim and he writes, there is a topic that I and probably every other church organist on here would like for you to cover. And that is how to accompany the choir for the choral anthem from a piano score at the organ. It is a nightmare. Usually if there is a piano available, I will move to the piano to accompany the choral anthem at the piano. And I think the congregation and the choir and the choral director seem to prefer it. I know I prefer doing that, but sometimes there is no piano available. Thank you. A fan, Jim. And basically how to accompany the choir from piano score on the organ.
That's a very good question actually, because I think that's very often, because when we receive scores like that, it means that somebody who gave us the score cannot understand the difference between piano and the organ. And it might be very frustrating. But of course, not everything is so bad, because not all the piano accompaniments are equally, elaborated, complicated. Sometimes the only thing you have to do to play what it's written on the organ, and it might work, but of course that's not often, because on the organ we don't have the legato pedal as we have on sustain pedal as we have on the piano. Of course it might be written in such a manner that you cannot play legato, because those virtuoso passages can be too difficult for you to play legato on the organ. In that case, what would help, that you would add the pedal voice. You would have to analyze a little bit of, the chords, what happens, in that accompaniment. And accordingly, to choose where to add the pedal line. That would sort of have that a little bit effect of
But don't aim to play pedal throughout the score. Just a few instances, a few passages would already make a great deal of difference, because pedals, if you use 16 feet with your registration, add this double bass effect like in an orchestra, and you sometimes hear the bass line played in the orchestra not only by double basses but also by cellos without the double basses also. So there is this 8-foot range, but also there is 16-foot range, and they don't always have to be played all the time. So if you play with just 8 feet with your hands, so to say, then you let the listeners breathe a little bit more. But when you add the deep bass, 16 feet, then it's more grounded and more sonorous this way. Keep a good balance.
Yes, maybe, just add pedals at the end, of at the cadence, let's say, or at the end of the piece. That might do and help and not overpower the choir. Another thing, what we have when we have piano accompaniment, it usually has quite a thick texture, and that might also not work on the organ, because we, as Vidas mentioned before, about the registration, that in 16 feet, but let's see, we also, like at 8 and 4, sometimes 2, and mutations, and pressing one key, we already have all these, different heights of the notes sounding while pressing one key.
Harmonics.
The harmonics, yes, we don't have that on the piano, so what you can do actually, and it will be easier for you to accompany, to reduce the texture?
So reduce texture because Ausra says that piano scores have thicker texture between hands than the organ, right?
Yes.
One more thing which isn't clear is whether Jim always plays from separate piano score or he has to read the open score notation from the choir, like if it's written in a cappella style and choir conductor asks Jim to help the choir by simply doubling the score. That could be also possible, right?
Yes, that could be
If it's
possible.
a cappella anthem and organist has to help out the singers by providing a quiet, not very loud, but quiet registration and doubling the parts. That's actually another skill. You have to read open score, four staves, soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, right? Or even more if you have a bigger choir.
Well, anyway, I think now we have all kinds of different musical programs to probably
Reduce, right?
reduce
There
them
is this.
into do stuff.
We also have tried it and it works really well. Play Score 2, it's called. This app lets you scan any PDF, no sheet music, PDF sheet music, and it converts it to the readable music file, and then you are free to rearrange any way you want.
Yes, but I'm thinking because organists usually play from free staff, so I don't think it would be a problem to play from the four open score. But yes, since piano accompaniment is not organ accompaniment, you have free hands to reduce things and to play them the way you want them.
So I hope this conversation was helpful to you, to Jim, and to others who are accompanying choirs on the organ, playing choral anthems from piano score on the organ. I know it's not an ideal situation if you have a piano score, but you are presenting it on the organ. But you have to learn the art of transcription a little bit too, Ausra, right?
Yes,
The
that's
art of
helpful.
transcription is not the same as playing it as written. You have to make it sound organistic. You have to arrange it basically or transcribe it on the fly, not at home with pencil and paper or music sheet notation, but be able to play it on the spot. Remember, Osha, how we played Bach Bach cantata arrangements for organ duet
Yes, we had done multiple
for
times.
from piano scores, from vocal scores. Osha would have to play the choir part, and I would take the rest. And I can't play the rest, the orchestra part. It's too big. So what I would do, I play the pedal line with my feet, and basically I would just supply the harmony with my hands, and maybe leave the right hand for additional melody, like a separate voice on a separate manual. That's for duet, of course. If you are accompanying choir alone, you only have two hands and 2 feet. So just simply reduce the texture and make it less jumpy from all over the place, like piano scores sometimes have. They have lots of arpeggio, for example, which works amazingly well on the piano, but not always so on the organ.
So you can play not arpeggios, for example, but just chords.
Or create a little bit of polyphonic movement between the hands. That's better on the organ than on the piano.
Because, accompaniment, the most important thing is, to support, like choir singing, that we would stay in tune, basically. And that's it. So you are not playing the solo part. In this case, you are just supporting. No, don't worry so much about it.
Unless you are playing interludes between stanzas of anthem, and then you have to use separate registration, solo voices, separate manuals, and then you have to behave like a soloist in this case when choir is not singing together. Right, Ausra?
But we are talking about piano accompaniments playing on the organ. So, and you are talking about separate manuals, like interludes and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, because anthems are like that. Sometimes voices have to rest, and pianists provide interludes, a little bit of interludes between the stanzas. Let's say 3 stanzas, and between 2 stanzas there are interludes, and of course introduction too. You can play louder.
But you can apply all those, advices for interludes as well. Reduce texture, add pedals if that suits the style. If arpeggios are too difficult for you to play on the organ because you don't have sustained pedal, then just, reduce them, play chords instead of arpeggio.
But generally speaking, you should play louder without choir, correct?
Yes, of course.
So, hope this was useful to Jim and others. And if you have any other requests or questions, please send them to us. We love helping you grow. This was Vidas.
And Ausra.
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This podcast is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online.
It has hundreds of courses, coaching, and practice materials for every area of organ playing, thousands of instructional videos and PDFs. You will not find more value anywhere else online.
Total Organist helps you to master any piece, perfect your technique, develop your sight reading skills, improvise or compose your own music, and much, much more.
Sign up and begin your training today at organduo.lt and click on Total Organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
If you like our organ music, you can also support us on Buy Me a Coffee platform.
Find out more at buymeacoffee.com/organduo.